Chapter 1. A new friend. A new day had begun. The sun's rays shone onto my face as I rolled into bed, reluctant to wake up. Days fade to night, and nightfall into day. A never-ending cycle I wished I could escape. One afternoon in a tranquil neighborhood filled with plain houses separated by short wooden fences, no sound was heard except the explosive tears of children playing and the occasional harmonious chirping of birds. This placidness was disturbed by the uproar of a man trying to break into someone's house. He was in formal attire, a white long-sleeve shirt, neatly pressed under a half-buttoned sky-blue waistcoat and pants. His crimson dreadlocks and earrings strangled in front of his caramel skin. His forest-green eyes glistened in the sunlight. He had jammed a red Tibetan staff into the door's keyhole and jolted it around. A strange luminous light glowed from the rod. The man struggled to open the door and kicked it in a fit of rage. Why in the world would someone need such a complicated... No! The intruder lost its train of thought and paused to think of what to say. Tch! I don't know what to call it, he grumbled to himself. I swear, once I get my hands on you, you'll regret having such a... A ball rolled in his direction. He heard the footsteps of a child running towards him and hastily stopped what he was doing. The child ran up and picked up the ball and saw nothing wrong. Trying not to seem suspicious, the man dropped his rod, which grabbed the boy's attention. The boy stood there staring at the intruder with shimmering eyes. He placed the ball on the ground. Oh, hey! The man laughed awkwardly while leaning back against the door. It's a funny story. My keys got locked in the door. Wait, no. Let me try it again. My door got locked in the keys. Wait, that isn't right either. The lock got keyed in my door. Ah! Why is this so hard? The boy reached for the rod, but the man quickly snatched it up. He silently stared at his empty hand, imagining how the rod could have felt. Tears swelled up in the boy's eyes. The man tried to comfort him. He picked up the ball and handed it to him. But the child kept crying. He heard thundering footsteps drawing closer. He laughed uncomfortably, trying to act normal, but became frantic and dropped the act. He shoved the staff into the keyway again and rapidly jolted it. Click! The door opened and he stumbled back. Through the door shut behind him. The crying child was left dumbfounded, then picked up the ball and struck before leaving. The noise woke Hikaru. He dashed downstairs and grabbed the vase, but by then the intruder was already in the house. Hikaru was a young Japanese man with tangled black hair and blue midnight eyes. He hit against the wall before the intruder noticed him. The intruder walked through the corridor slowly. Hikaru, who was by the kitchen counter, waited there in fear, hoping not to be found. Who was that guy? He peered into the hallway and let out a sigh of relief once the intruder passed. The intruder crept up beside him and tapped him on the shoulder. Now, is that any way to treat a guest? The intruder smirked, leaning against the wall. Hikaru stared at him for a moment, then dashed through the hallway. The intruder sighed. Why do they always run? He grabbed his staff from its pouch, spun it around with ease, and pointed it at Hikaru. Hikaru's shaky hands prevented him from getting the key into the keyway. The intruder was still there, yet Hikaru had stopped trying. His eyes remained blank as if this had happened before. He scoffed. Kigare Ohara, Tamasi or Kiyome. Another exorcist, here with the same old tricks. What? Do they say a manual or something? Hikaru clenched his fist. I don't have time for false hope. As the strange figure tensed, a million tails surged from the slab, circling Hikaru. What? What's this? Hikaru's eyes wandered cautiously over the chains. I guess he had a few tricks up his sleeve. Dusky smiled with a sly look on his face. Hikaru stared blankly at the chains, not moving an inch. The chant continued. Akao osizomeo. He raised the staff upward, then swayed it in front of him. The circular motion left a trail of white glowing light behind him. Kami, or Mikara, or Kirata. His chanting ended, but nothing happened. The encrypted chains still hung around Hikaru. He took a step forward. A cold, burning sensation pierced Hikaru's chest. He looked down to see the chains through his abdomen. His trembling hands traced the chain in his body. His eyes met the intruder's. The chains unraveled from the walls and circled around him. The chant isn't complete until you move. Thanks, bud. In disbelief, Hikaru took another step forward. A storm of chains pierced through his body, burning him. Koko ni Fuziro. The chains swirled tighter with each turn. A luminous light shined through Hikaru's chest. A gut-ripping pain spread as the soul in his body was torn out. He gasped for breath, but each inhalation felt like the air was running away. His body felt as if it was thrown into scorching lava. Please, stop. A whimper crept out of him. Something Hikaru secretly wanted. To be set free of all his worries. But tears poured down his face like a faulty tap. He heard a voice scratching in his head. Say it. It was the voice of the demon that rested within him, clawing its way out of Hikaru's mind. Please, stop, please. His voice trembled as if he felt sorry for the intruder. His midnight blue eyes clouded with white just before they were completely covered. He kicked the leg of a table beside him. The shelf of books came stumbling down onto the intruder. The chains cast into Hikaru were relinquished and blew away with a swift breeze. No. Hikaru fell to his knees and wrapped his arms around himself. Why did this happen again? He bit his lower lip so hard it tore skin. He looked towards the pile of books. Please, forgive me. His breathing was fast and his heart pounded. He gasped as if the tent was still there. His eyes burned, ears rang, and his chest felt tight. Everything went quiet when a book slammed onto the floor. The intruder emerged from the mountain of books, pushing the shelf off. He got up and stretched as if that shelf didn't weigh the same as a king-sized bed. Hikaru gasped and coughed for breath. He frowned at the intruder. Need a hand? The man asked. Hikaru followed the wall with his hands and used it to help himself up. The pain had dulled. It seemed the chains wouldn't appear unless he chanted again. Unsure what to do, he tried to go to the door, stopped mid-step, and turned to face the intruder. What do you want? The intruder headed toward him. Hikaru's body was stiff from the pain, and he turned his head away. He felt a tug on the top of his shirt. Ah, so you are a guy. Hikaru turned his head back to find the intruder looking down his shirt. Hikaru bonked the intruder on the back of the head. Pervert! Hikaru's face lost bright red. Ow, that hurts! They scowled at each other, but the intruder burst into laughter. Hikaru was frustrated. So, can we talk? The intruder asked. He held his stomach tight from laughing. Sir. The intruder smiled gleefully. Great! He strode without hesitation to the kitchen. From the kitchen. You should eat something. You'll need the energy. Hikaru stood doubtfully, then caught his breath and headed into the kitchen. The intruder sat on one of Hikaru's stools with his feet on the table, which Hikaru found unsettling. Oh, you finally decided to come. I thought I'd have to make myself breakfast. Huh? The guy had just tried to kill me a second ago, and now he expected me to make him breakfast? What's up with him? Hikaru reluctantly walked to the stove, grabbed some things from the cupboard, and set them on the table. He fried some vegan food, slung it onto the table, and forced a smile. Enjoy, he said, then walked back to the stove. Now it's my turn. Hikaru was seized by a sudden dizziness. His vision blurred, and he lost his footing. Just as he was about to fall, the intruder caught him by the arm and delicately put it across his shoulder. Hikaru's breathing was deep and unsteady. You can go sit down. I'll take it from here, the intruder said with a bright smile. Huh? Hikaru felt disgusted. Why'd you say it like that? The intruder asked. Hikaru's eyes pierced the intruder. You're the reason I'm like this, he thought. Relax, I'm not gonna poison you or anything. If I wanted to, I would have killed you a long time ago. The intruder smiled again, but that did not make Hikaru feel better. He helped Hikaru to his stool. You just stay here, I got this. The intruder walked to the stove and turned it on. The stove spontaneously caught fire and Daisuke tried to fan it out. Everything's under control here, he said, laughing awkwardly. Hikaru fiddled with the edge of his shirt, repeating the motion several times. This is gonna be a disaster. After a few minutes, the intruder set a plate down in front of Hikaru and sat down. Dig in. The dish seemed to glow and its aroma was heavenly. Golden toasted bread, simmering with butter, a green salad, a cold glass of juice, and eggs sunny side up. How the heck did the food turn out like this? Hikaru put his hands together in prayer. Thank you for the food. Amen. Hikaru opened his eyes to find the intruder staring at him. He averted his eyes and ate peacefully. You're a Christian? The intruder asked. Yeah. Wow, I could have sworn you were a Satanist. The intruder chuckled. Hikaru's grip on the spoon tightened. I swear, if his food wasn't absolutely amazing, I'd have flung it in his face. The intruder pulled his chair closer. So, Demon, tell me about yourself. Hikaru was silent and continued to eat. I'll start first. My name is Daisuke Ono, descendant of the Ono clan. I was raised by pure Buddhists in the hopes of creating an elite generation of demon exorcists. I've been blessed with my mighty vermilion staff with jasmine engraved on the handle, a weapon specifically designed to slay wretched demons like yourself. Daisuke smiled with radiantly blinding teeth. He scooped another spoonful and leaned in. Daisuke took his staff from his pouch and smoothed Hikaru's cheek with it. My sacred Akari was forged for me by the kami themselves with material from the sacred sign, he said, holding the staff like a treasure. Isn't he amazing, demon? Bits of food splattered onto Hikaru's face with each word. It would be amazing if you kept the food in your mouth, Hikaru snapped. Daisuke put the staff back into his pouch. Oh, sorry. Here, let me help. He grabbed the edge of the tablecloth to wipe Hikaru's cheek. Hikaru snatched it from his hand. I got this. Hikaru took a handkerchief from his pocket and wiped his cheek. Daisuke put his feet on the table and continued eating. Okay. So that's my life story. Now it's your turn. Hikaru wiped his cheek again. Veins popped on his forehead. No, I think I agree with your weird story time. To tell the truth, I don't even care about you one bit. This Daisuke gasped as if something out of this world had been said. I thought we bonded. Hikaru raised an eyebrow. Bonded? He thought. Daisuke sighed and rested his head on his arm, eyes on Hikaru. But I still haven't decided whether or not to exercise yet. Hikaru nearly choked on the food as a chill ran down his body. After catching his breath, he set his fork down. Fine, I'll do it. Daisuke clapped his hands in delight. As a reward, I'll tell you more about me after you're done. Hikaru wished for death as Daisuke smiled like a little kid waiting for her bedtime story. Chapter 2. A New Beginning. Every now and then, I remember that day, that day I lost it all. It visits like an unwanted guest, leaving whenever it pleases. But I suppose I should be thankful, because every visit reminds me of just how pathetic I truly am. Hikaru's voice dropped so low it was almost a mumble. With a deep inhale, he began his tale. My name is Nakahara Hikaru, an ex-member of a Buddhist family. My mother and father had 5 children together. My twin older siblings came first. A year later they had me. 3 years after, my younger sister Aiko was born. And lastly, 11 years later, my younger brother Takashi arrived. He paused, carefully choosing his words. My father had always been a devoted samurai. But once samurai were no longer needed, he had to find something else to devote his life to. I guess we just weren't enough for him. Anyways, he chose Buddhism. That's why I was raised Buddhist. Hikaru's hand slid to the corner of the table, gently caressing its edge. The world was tainted, the world was tainted, he said. Everywhere you turned, there was something that could lead you astray. Silly, right? The lush green fields, the soothing aroma of flowers, the peace of being away from the world. All the things I tried to focus on while living on that mountain. But I couldn't. My friends, neighbors, even friendly passerbys. They were always on my mind. Funny thing is, I used to think of being friends with them was such a waste of time. I always wanted to be like my older brother Akira, strong, handsome, brave. But when I finally got rid of them all, I was alone. An itching sensation scratched at Hikaru's mouth as he pressed on. One day, my mother fell sick. We called the finest doctors in the land, but no one could cure them. Fumiko tried to step into mother's place, but she just couldn't manage. Burnt rice, ruined tea, the rest of us pitched in, each with our own choice, trying to keep life as normal as we could, until Hikaru gripped the table edge so tightly that his hands began to bleed. His body trembled. It was my fault, my fault, my fault, he whispered over and over. Daisuke rose from his chair and poured him a cup of water. I got the illness, Hikaru finally said. Daisuke set the cup down in front of him. Hikaru didn't move, frozen in place. My father used the little strength he had to travel across countries searching for a cure. No one would help, so he did something unspeakable. He made a deal with the Sigue. Daisuke's eyes widened. He scooted closer. Sigue, a demon from the deepest depths of the world, said to grant any wish in exchange for one's life force. My father's wish was granted, but he became became a puppet for the very thing he saw to destroy. All because he loved us. Hikaru laughed awkwardly, though his voice trembled. Funny, right? Takashi was always the smart one. He figured out our father's deal, but kept it secret for our sake. But secrets can't protect forever. The demon puppeting my father's body craved more tea. It tried to possess my mother, but she was too frail. Her body tore apart from the strain. I heard her wails, the sloshing sound of ripping flesh. By the time I rushed in, it was too late. My mother was gone. And then the demon jumped into me. It felt like I was burning alive. The demon's thoughts, its screams, its hunger, roaring in my head. My body wanted to tear itself apart, but somehow I survived. Shaking, Hikaru lifted the glass to his lips, took a sip, then set it back down. The only reason I survived was because I wasn't the only one it possessed. When the voices stopped, I saw my siblings behind me, breathing just as heavily as I was. I turned to look back at my mother, but before I could, Father ran his hand across my face. He cursed me, blamed me for everything, for her death, for it all. I was too young to think. I just ran away. Tears burned down my face as I stormed out. A family at the bottom of the mountain took me in. They never asked questions, never pushed me to return. They were kind until the very end. Secret don't die unless they're killed. That's what the old tales say. Is it true, Mr. Exorcist? Hikaru turned his eyes to Daisuke, yearning for an answer. What he saw, however, was not what he expected. Daisuke wasn't smirking or mocking. He was sniffling, tears rolling down his face. Are you crying? Hikaru asked. What? No, I just got something in my eye. Daisuke wiped his nose with his sleeve, though the sniffles betrayed him. Yeah, cheers. Hikaru muttered, embarrassed, though a part of him wanted to smile. So Hikaru, what happened to your siblings after? I never returned to that mountain, so I don't know. That makes this harder, Daisuke said, clapping his hands together as if closing an invisible book. Well, it's decided. I'm gonna help you find them. Hikaru's eyes widened with doubt. Questions flooded his mind. You see, Daisuke pointed at him. The Sigwe inside you isn't the main one. Accessing it now would just waste tea. But if we find the rest of your family, we'll find the main body. And once we access that, you can continue living your life like before, possibly. Hikaru's eyes softened. What about my siblings? Daisuke's tearful smile faltered. He filled with his spoon. They'll be exercised, of course, he said bluntly. Hikaru saw to his feet, slamming his bloody hand against the table. Well, like I said, you might return to normal, or you'll be excised too. But what I do know is that your siblings will die. If not by your father, then by the demons within them. Hikaru's legs gave out, and he collapsed back into his chair, drained by the words. I know they're your family, but it's best you forget about them, like you've done for all these years. You don't know how it's been for me. Every day, when I wake up, they're the first things on my mind. I can't stop thinking of them, helpless, trapped with father. It's like a broken record stuck on repeat. How am I supposed to live with the thought that they died while I survived? How? His teeth clenched. I Can't imagine a world without them. Watching everyone I love disappear again. Laskin stayed quiet, then smiled gently. He got up, leaned close, and brushed Hikaru's hair aside. You're actually kinda cute close up. Hikaru froze, flustered, turning away. Daisuke clutched. Daisuke chuckled, stepping back. I'll give you all your happy ending. Hikaru blinked, confused but calmer than before. At the doorway, Daisuke paused, tilting his head back. Oh, before I forget, starting tomorrow, I'll be staying with you until the mission is over. So let's get along, Hikaru. Ja, ne? He smiled and laughed. Hikaru found himself staring at him without hesitation. A faint smile crept onto his face. Takahashi, Akira, Fumiko, Aiko. Bring us back together again. I promise. He whimpered to himself. Chapter 3. A Love Letter. He's weird. He's strange. I hate him. I love him. I don't know how to feel. He changed my life, and now I never want him to go. I'm too selfish. I hate it. I wish that I was different. Hikaru sat casually at a desk, pen in hand, scribbling onto a paper. 2 years ago, it has officially been 2 years since I moved in with Daisuke. Wait a minute. This is my house. He acts as if he gave me the luxury of letting me stay. I sometimes forget that this was my house in the first place. Ugh. Anyway, ever since that day, our lives have never been the same. I was so used to staying alone that it took me a really long while to get used to living with him. Sometimes I'd pour him with water from the shower head, he'd barge in while I was sleeping, I'd lock the house forgetting that he was still in there, or just do other things you'd normally do alone. At times I thought he'd think I did those things on purpose, but I kept my composure and did nothing. Honestly speaking, I'm still convinced that he did certain things to me while I was sleeping. Experiments! Not anything perverted. Yep, not. Hopefully not. Hikaru stopped writing and stared at the door. He let out a sigh of relief. Good, he's not there. Daisuke is really a weirdo sometimes, just like the first day I met him. Honestly, I actually did some of those things on purpose, but luckily he never found out. Hikaru laughed to himself. He held his stomach as tears rolled down his cheeks. He eventually calmed down and continued writing. During the time we spent together, Daisuke and I grew closer than I thought we would. I laughed. I learned that despite how cold he seemed on the outside, he actually has a heart, which honestly you need to dig really, really deep to find. Cold? Let me guess, that's what you were thinking. I was being sarcastic. That guy doesn't know the meaning of being serious, and I know that very well. But I was genuine when I said he was kind. For example, in the first few months we were together, I overworked myself for the sake of our mission. And when he found out, he was so angry, he took me straight into the bedroom, put me on the bed, and forced me to sleep. Well, that plan obviously failed. Miserably. But after that, he began keeping a closer eye on me to make sure I didn't go back to my unhealthy ways. He was doing it for good reasons. Trust me, I made so. Hikaru paused from writing. He smiled, then shook his head and continued. Nights were very awkward, considering how we had to share my bed so he could keep watch over me and make me his personal servant. Hikaru became annoyed while recalling that, but he cleared his mind and kept writing. After years of being together, Daisuke finally told me his plan. Well, part of it. He says that he knows someone who can help us, but I'm not sure there's anyone out there who can help with my situation. Even if what he's planning turns out to be a bust, at least I was able to make a friend out of it. A friend. Huh? Who am I kidding? The door opened, and Daisuke entered the room. Hikaru was shocked and tried to hide the letter by shoving it into a drawer. Hikaru, it's time for our mission. Daisuke! Almost done here. Just wait for me outside, yeah, okay? Hikaru laughed awkwardly. Ooh, what's you up to, Hikaru? Oh, nothing. Daisuke walked closer to the study table, pressing his fingers on the handle. He tried to open it, but Hikaru pushed it aside. Daisuke turned his head and looked at Hikaru. Hikaru averted his eyes, let go of the drawer. Daisuke shrugged his shoulders and stopped caring about the letter. Okay. What? Daisuke slid his hand across the table. 2 years is a lot of time. He pressed his fingers along Hikaru's chin, forcing him to look into his eyes. In the span of 2 years, I've gotten to know you better than anyone else, right? He leaned forward. Hikaru's face grew hot and red. So I know what you're capable of. Daisuke slipped his hand into his pockets, stood upright and walked away. Hikaru was left dumbfounded. I guess he's right. From outside the room. But when we get back, I want to read that little love letter of yours, okay? Hikaru flushed bright red. Huh? Love letter? Wait. That means he was watching me. I guess old habits don't die that quickly. Whatever, let's just get this over and done with. Chapter 4. Hope. I met someone new. He was kind to me. How sad. He was kind to me, though he doesn't know. He was kind to me. I don't deserve it. After traveling on the bike to the place Daisuke mentioned, they reached an old abandoned town. Though silent, it was lively with the dead. To humans, it was just the average ghost town, but to people like Hikaru, it was more than that. It was a town alive with the souls of the dead. This is the place. It's different from the way I thought it would look. Hikaru's eyes drifted towards the figures flying past. Some were gawking at him, while others performed the test they used to do when alive. I thought that too the first time I visited. Come on, let's go. If we don't hurry, we'd have wasted those past years together. Daisuke smiled brightly like he usually did, while Hikaru just stood there in silence. Okay. A ghost stared back at him and he quickly turned away. Oh, and Hikaru, the more you stare, the more they realize what you are. So for your safety, just don't look too long, okay? Hikaru nodded, though he couldn't keep calm. He tugged onto his sleeve and twirled it around his finger. Hikaru and Daisuke walked into the town. A young man who looked around his 20s, with brown curly hair, almond brown eyes, dimples on his face, and wearing an azure blue djembe, ran towards them. Daisuke swung both his arms in the air. Arata! Daisuke seemed happy to meet this man, but Hikaru found it hard to understand how he could be of any use to them. You finally made it. I almost sent someone out to look for you. Hikaru, this is Taira Arata. He's a spirit medium. A medium. Hello, Arata. Hikaru reached his hand out, his other arm still gripping his sleeve. He didn't look Arata in the eyes. Greetings, Hikaru. Arata shook Hikaru's hand with a smile on his face. Not a single word was said after. The hands held on to each other's, neither showing the slightest intent to let go first. They stood in awkward silence. So, you got any info for me? Hikaru and Arata quickly let go. Arata cleared his throat. Yes, tons actually. Come this way. They walked through the town. Hikaru was fascinated by the landmarks and the designs, though it mainly consisted of dust and debris. The original design of the structures was still simple to make out. What made the town more vivid and colorful despite the peeling paint were the unique patterns covering it from bottom to top, some curved, some continuous. The use of only two colors, cream white and sky blue, created a feeling of peace and calmness. Hikaru, have you heard of Kenshi Town? Hikaru was still distracted by the sights. Daisuke blew in his ear, sending a tingle through his body. His arm jolted upward. No, I haven't. Hikaru looked away, blushing. It's alright. That's the name of this small town. Hikaru pointed skyward towards a rusty hanging sign. Several letters had fallen off, but the initials KST could be made out. Kenshi So used to be one of the most populated Japanese towns in California. It welcomed everyone, no matter their age or gender. It was that way for 50 years. Arata eventually looked forward and continued leading them through the town. Did something happen to the town? A cold gust of wind blew past, as if trying to silence Arata. I can't say for certain what happened, but do I have a tale? So listen close. One day, a young boy with patched up skin arrived in town. Hikaru's hand slid up his arm to his bicep. He listened intently to Arata with each word. The townsfolk welcomed him with open arms. They sheltered him, gave him food and a home. He was loved by all despite never leaving the house. Though he was silent, he was very smart. He could solve problems even the wise men couldn't. He was truly a miracle for our town. But all miracles fade someday. And so did he. Years passed, but he didn't. He never aged nor grew distant. He stayed in this town until the townsfolk began to see him as a burden. Though he was bright, his brightness couldn't save him from the sun. His sensitive skin wouldn't allow him under its light. Years passed, and the people grew more and more restless. They threw him out, even after all he had done. That was the biggest mistake. The day he left was the same day the town mysteriously became vacant. Nothing remained but the furniture he once owned. Hikaru was certain that was his brother. As he thought more about it, his grip on his arm tightened and his hand quivered. If no one knows the truth, how do you know all this? They reached their destination and Arata stopped walking. They were in the town center. There's a better place to get all the info you need, but the sauce. Arata patted Hikaru's shoulder and pointed to the center of the town, where most of the spirits were. Hikaru secondly looked up. They noticed him and waved. Arata waved back with a smile. Oh. Hikaru realized he had been staring too long and quickly averted his eyes. Arata removed his hand from Hikaru's shoulder, turning to face Daisuke. The boy carried a white and black teddy bear with a missing eye and a large cross in the middle of its chest. Daisuke wrapped his arms around Arata. As thorough as always, I see. Daisuke ruffled his hair. Arata tried to stop him, both of them laughing. Arata-san. Dasuke stopped ruffling his hair and let go. Arata tried to fix it back. Yes, Hikaru? Hikaru tried to calm himself down, though he was still shaken by the information. Do you blame the child for what happened? He was never from this town, so he didn't have the right to rebel. Doesn't that make what he did unjustified? As Hikaru waited patiently for an answer, his anxiety grew. What? No. Kenji-chan was built to welcome all. And besides, in the end, he's just a child. The answer was something Hikaru didn't expect to hear. It soothed his nervousness, yet made him feel more guilty. Just the child. Dasuke remained silent. He placed his hand on Hikaru's shoulder. Well, thanks for the answer, Arata. Bye! Dasuke and Arata waved at each other. Then Dasuke and Hikaru continued toward the exit. As they walked, Dasuke gently pulled Hikaru closer to his side. Don't worry, I got you. Take a deep breath, okay? Hikaru listened to Dasuke's instructions and loosened his grip on his arm. When he turned to look at Dasuke, his bright, annoying smile, strangely, made Hikaru feel safe. They finally reached a motorcycle. Dasuke helped Hikaru onto the edge of the seat, and with a whoosh, they were off. Chapter 5. Is that you? You've changed. You're no longer the same person I loved. Why'd you change, I wonder? You were one of a kind. Now you're just like them. Why did you change, I wonder? What if I'm the one who changed? Hikaru and Dasuke were riding a bicycle to the location Arata had sent for them. An alley. Hikaru sat at the back of the bike, while Dasuke rode in the front, since he was the one who asked Hikaru to buy it. Hikaru stared blankly at the clouds. The wind blew gently across his face, his tangled black hair whipping past his midnight blue eyes. He's just a child, he mumbled. Hikaru's arms were wrapped around Dasuke. What Arata said really stuck to you, didn't it? Hikaru was still zoned out and didn't respond. Hikaru, look out! Just Hikaru jolted up from his seat. Well, almost. If he had actually left, he probably would have died like he wanted. He frantically looked around. Dasuke burst into laughter. Got you. Hikaru realized they were still on the bike and that Dasuke had tricked him. His face turned pink with embarrassment. Sorry. It's just never really seen you this focused on something. It's rather cute. Dasuke wiped tears of laughter from his face. Don't patronize me. Hikaru glared at him so deeply it looked like he could melt a hole through his chest. I'm not. Dasuke burst into laughter again. I just can't believe that worked. Hikaru rested his face against Dasuke's back and clicked his tongue, looking upward at the sky. The journey continued in silence, filled only by the vrooming of the motorcycle's exhaust. On the way, they encountered people and cars. Dasuke passed by with a smile and a wave, while Hikaru turned his face away. Finally, they reached their destination. Hikaru got off the bike, while Dasuke scooted back. I'll be close by, in one of the nearby buildings. If you need any help, don't be afraid to call. Bye. Dasuke blew a kiss at Hikaru before waving and riding away on the bike with a loud skrrr. Hikaru watched as the black smoke thinned, then turned back into the alley. He spotted what Arata had told him about. A teddy bear. Hikaru remembered Arata's description as he headed down the alley toward it. From a distance, he saw the old stuffed bear and approached. I guess that this might possibly lead me to my siblings. He reached his hand out to grab the teddy bear, but two figures, a man and a woman, entered from the other side of the alley. Hikaru didn't notice until the man kicked down at Truskin, catching his attention. The pair walked closer, then stopped midway. The man wore ripped jeans, a black shirt, and a silver chain necklace. Some of his long black hair was tied into a bun, while the rest swayed into the wind, strands falling around his face. The woman wore a tight purple dress that revealed her heavy figure. Like the man, her eyes were midnight blue. Her hair, with a side bang, reached the length of her back. That said his hours, brat. Hikaru stood his ground, glaring at the man. His expression was similar to when he first spoke with Daisuke. You deaf or something? Don't make me repeat myself. The man cracked his knuckles and started forward, but the woman blocked him with her arm. Ahem. Sorry for my brother's rudeness. What he kindly meant to say was, can you please leave the teddy bear? My mother mistook it for garbage and threw it in the trash. My younger brother really loved the bed and was heartbroken when he saw it missing. So can you be a dear, please, and leave the toy? What he's saying sounds legitimate. But if what Arata said is true, then I can't afford to lose the teddy bear either. If things escalate any further, I'll be at a disadvantage. What should I do? The woman walked closer while the man stayed behind. I really didn't want to do this, but just then, a wire-like tentacle wrapped around the woman's waist. Surprised, she struggled, but the arm carried her away. The two men were left alone. Hikaru was suddenly crushed by a thick atmosphere. The weight pressing down on him was so strong it felt like he was carrying the world. The ground cracked beneath his feet as his body was forced lower. He looked up and saw the man angrily glaring at him. Walking closer, the man extended his arm forward. Sufuka. Gravitation. Down. He pointed his finger downward, and the crushing force on Hikaru's body intensified. His chest tightened, and the air in his lungs drained with each step. Is this his restoration technique? Then that means... There's no time to think. He's getting closer, and I can barely move. With each step he takes, the force grows stronger. My body is stiff, unresponsive. My knees ready to collapse. My heart is racing. My breath heavier. I want to run away, but I can't. How am I supposed to fight him? Someone so inhumane. Will I be able to fight against him? No, it's not about what I can or can't do. I have to. I must. I will fight him with all the strength I have. The man stopped in front of Hikaru, who could barely stand. Seizoku. Hikaru trembled but stood his ground, still avoiding the man's gaze. Seizoku. Hikaru shivered, sweat pouring down his face, but he remained standing. The man grabbed his head and yanked his head upward. Didn't you hear me? I said, withdraw. Hikaru took a deep breath and swallowed hard. He forced himself to look up. He did. The man tightened his grip, making Hikaru wince. What is that? Hikaru shut his eyes, weakly holding onto the man's hand. I did hear you. It's just that Sylvia also has great value to me as well. So no matter what, I won't let you take it away from me. The man was silent, scrutinizing Hikaru, till Hikaru tried to stay brave, despite trembling. Finally, the man released his hair. Hikaru patted his head down, staring at the ground. The man stepped back with a grunt. That was gonna be a cakewalk, but you saw a brave, kid. Fine. We'll have a competition for the bear. If I fight you, it won't be any fun. You got scared just from me looking at you. So, which is it? Hikaru froze. Do you want to fight or have a race? The choice is yours. He bit his lower lip. A race or a fight. It seemed like a good deal, but also too good to be true. During a race, I could just grab the bear. I could just grab the bear as we're running, but it depends on who's faster. On the other hand, he's right. I'm not up for a fight against him. Is it too late to run away? Too deep in thought, Hikaru didn't notice the man's growing impatience. If you don't answer soon, I'll choose. The man began counting slowly. Hikaru panicked, waving his hands rapidly, which caught the man's attention. Ugh. So what is it? Hikaru clutched his arm. The first option, he whispered. The race? Hikaru nodded. Okay. So here are the terms. You run 1 lap while I'll run 20. Hikaru shook his head furiously, finally managing to meet the man's eyes. That's very unfair for you. We should run the same distance. Huh? Are you underestimating me? Hikaru shook his head again. If we're having a race, I'll run 20. And you'll run 1. Am I clear? Hikaru looked away, fiddling with the bottom of his shirt. Can I at least run 2 laps? He asked quietly. Those terms are agreeable, but there'll be no more negotiation once the race commences. Agreed? Hikaru nodded. Both men took their positions at opposite ends of the alley. The teddy bear lined up in the middle of the route. Chapter 6. Fumiko's struggle. A past I long to forget. A love that I could never quite fade. I love you. But do you long for me as much as I do for you? The woman is tied up in tentacle-like wires. During the event with Hikaru, when the woman Fumiko was taken away by the tentacles, she landed abruptly on a faraway rooftop. She didn't end up injured, as she used gymnastic-like movements to soften her fall. Fumiko stands up with the wire still around her waist and looks around at her surroundings. Oh, this place is calm, not a sound to be heard. Wow. Love is peace. It's soothing. Oh, I should tell Akira about this when I get back. Fumiko tries to jump into another building, but the wire pulls her back and she almost falls. Luckily, she regains her balance before stumbling off. Ooh, that was a close one. I should really be more careful with this wire on my waist, she mumbles. Dasuke speaks through the tentacles. His voice sounds ethereal, and it's a bit hard to hear. The real Dasuke is controlling them. I won't hurt you. Just stay here until my partner returns with what we're searching for. Fumiko nods her head, but in an instant, she bolts straight toward the next rooftop. The wire pulls her back. What did I just say? He sighs. I know, but the way you said it made it sound so suspicious. What? But... The annoyance strikes Dasuke even through the tentacles. This time, will you stay put? She agrees, just like before, but her words are tainted with lies and break the moment they're spoken. She tries to bolt again, but the wire pulls her back. Can you just stay still? Fumiko sits down, legs crossed, thinking of what to do next. I don't know. He sighed. You really are annoying. Dasuke takes his stab from within its pouch. Kegare Ohara, Tamasi o Kiyome, Akuyo o Shizumayo, Kami no Mikara o Karita, Kami no Mikara o Karite, Koko no Fuhiro. White chains emerge from the slab, clinging to the walls of the building, The souls of the walls are dragged out. The malice screaming through the silence. Dusk sighs. We said it didn't have to come to this. The screams of silence. The form sifts into thin white wires. Please help me in your last moments. Tentacle-like wires surround Fumiko. She stands calmly in the middle of them and looks around. They shoot toward her. Fumiko jumps and dodges most of them. One aims for her thigh, but she narrowly avoids it with a handstand. This continues. Ita's hack from Dusk is met with her gymnastic defenses. Unfortunately, she slips after landing on a wire while dodging another, and Duske captures her. He grabs her left arm, then her right leg, then her other arm, her other leg, and finally her forehead. Fumiko is pinned to the ground, her movements restricted by the wires, which ever so slightly tighten. Ouch! He got me good. Fumiko chuckles, groaning between each laugh. But there's nothing to worry about, because Akira will save me. Akira always saves me. She chuckles again. In the silence, her eyes wander across the nearby buildings. Through the blur of her poor vision, one rooftop sparks a memory of her childhood. Flashback. Young Fumiko watches Akira play with his friends. She stands beside her mother, Akemi, and sighs. What's wrong, Fumi-chan? Akemi walks closer. Okasam, do you think I'll ever be as strong as Akira? Why do you ask this all of a sudden? Fumiko clutches her mother's clothes and points at Akira. Well, I see Akira getting a lot of praise for many things, while I only get praise for my beauty. I want something that makes me better than Akira, and the only thing I have is my strength. I'm clumsy, I get distracted easily, and I can't see it out well. I feel like Otto-sama would be better off without me as his daughter. Akemi brushes her hand against Fumiko's cheek. I know how you feel, Fumi-chan, but don't lose hope. Everyone in our family has something special about them. Even you. Akemi smiles warmly. Do you know what makes someone really strong? The heart. If you have a kind heart, then someday you could be a great Onabugasi. The memory drifts. Now older Fumiko is married. Food spills on the table and she's forced to clean it. She cries on her knees. Ugh, what is wrong with you? You never do anything right. You can't cook, you can't clean, you can't see, even bad children. I guess I should consider myself blessed. Who would want children with someone like you? Her clothes were stained, wet, and dirty. She stays on her knees, apologizes for mistakes she cannot control. That's what you always say. After I took you in when your past husbands abandoned you. After I cared for you. This is how you repay me? At first, I thought your mistakes would improve. But now, I see the truth. I regret having you as my wife. Please do everyone a favor and just end your wretched life. Past Fumiko's eyes widen. Tears stream down her face. She clenches her chest and continues cleaning. The scene fades. Fumiko lies in an empty void, silent, endless. She sheds a single tear. I'd almost forgotten, Okasam. The rooftop returns. She opens her eyes, sighs, and struggles against the wires. I'm strong. With a burst of strength, she breaks the wires on her arm. She frees the other, then rips apart the binding on her legs one by one. Daisuke senses the wires breaking. Disbelief rising, he sends another wave of wires to attack. Fumiko is already back on her feet, charging towards the rooftop. You ain't getting away that easy. The wire on her waist pulls her back. Another grabs her legs. She falls and twists and shreds it. Exhausted, drenched in sweat, she pants heavily. Ow! This is getting tiring. No matter how many I break, more keep coming. This is impossible to win. But even so, I need to keep my cool. I need to show Akira that I'm just as strong as he is. The place grows silent. The wires stop. How strange. Fumiko steadies herself, arms bent, legs spread. A wire whips towards her. She dodges, but it scratches her face. She touches the blind. I guess he's no longer playing nice. A swarm of wires attack her. She dodges, but some catch her. She breaks free, but one lashes her side. What's with this freaky attack pattern? The battle drags on. She bleeds, her body covered in wounds. The wire on her waist grows tighter, restricting her movements. Ow! This wire around my waist is a real problem, and the way the restraining ones curve mid-air makes it harder to break down. If I don't figure something out soon, I'll be in real danger. The rooftop is stained scarlet with her blood. Her breathing is ragged. I thought I could win this fight with just my strength, but I guess there was never a possibility. Time seems to slow. She forces herself upright, raising her arm. Fingers spread, her hand lowers, elbow bends, palm below her eye. The alignment of the stars is said to determine our future. But stars always change. Just like them, I'll determine yours. Sufuko. Track. The wire sees her, but suddenly an electric shock bursts from her body. Daisuke collapses, overwhelmed by the backlash. The wires vanish in crackles of light. Fumiko breaks free. My restoration technique, track. It gives me the ability to find anything I've set my eyes on. If it's within 170 miles, I can locate it no matter where it is. My ability distinguishes even the slightest unique characteristics. If multiple set them, I'll find them all. Track enhances my vision too, allowing me to see clearly for a short time. And once activated, it emits an electric shock that disables nearby electronics. Daisuke groans, blood dripping from his forehead. He forces himself upright. Chikiso! 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 So that's what happened. Because of all of those wires he destroyed, I only have a few minutes of tea left. He grits his teeth. I'm not going out just yet. The battle resumes. Fumiko now sharper and faster. Dodges each strike, even when caught. She breaks free. The wires on her waist finally slips loose. She fights with renewed agility. At last, both collapse, gasping. He stopped. I guess that means I can leave. But Daisuke slams his staff down. The building shakes as tainted souls merge, forming one colossal wire. Not yet! It whips forward, wrapping around Fumiko's waist. Unlike the others, this one doesn't bend. You may have broken the rest, but can you break this? Veins bulge on Daisuke's forehead, his eyes shine with desperation. This one's heavier. Breaking it will take time. I don't have that. Come on, Fumi, think. His blood amplifies his chants. Don't be upset. Consider yourself lucky. I don't use this on just anyone. Fumiko struggles, but then notices something. With track, her vision sharpens. She pulls forward, step by step, even under the weight of the wire. Daisuke chuckles. Get ready. She jumps to the next rooftop. The wire stretches. She leaps again, bit by bit, the wire frays. What? Daisuke pours the last of his tea into the wire, strengthening it by sheer force. The battle begins, one of raw strength. The wills clash. I won't lose. They scream in unison. The wire snaps. Fumiko stumbles, falling to the ground, barely able to breathe. Daisuke collapses too, his staff cracking beneath him. blood streaming down his face. Hey, why do you fight? He grips his staff weakly, eats breath, shallow. If I had to say, maybe to help someone find peace. He smiles softly, his hands lowers as he passes out. Fumiko smiles faintly. I guess I was wrong. Akira and Higarako are at the starting line of the race. On your marks, get set, ready, fire, go! Akira dashes forward, blindingly fast. Hikaru can barely see him. Dust trails behind each lap. Huh? What's just happening? In the blink of an eye, he ran 2 laps. He even caught his breath mid-sentence. Was he giving me a head start? Ugh, no time to think. He's already finishing 3 more laps. Hikaru starts running, but Akira racks up more laps with ease. Dang it, it's no use. No matter how fast I run, I can't match his speed. There's no chance I'll win. But even so, I have to try. He grabs the teddy bear and heads back, but still has a lap left. Whoa, I did it! But while I ran 1 lap, he ran 9. At this rate, I can't win. What do I do? A memory surfaces. Him training Naginata with Akira as children. Even if I get better, I still can't beat you. It's impossible. Young Hikaru had said. Is that what you'll say when you meet someone stronger? It's impossible. Grow up, Hikaru. No one goes easy on you. You need to get stronger. Back in the present, Hikaru steadies his breath. He's breathing. Adrenaline rushing through him. His muscles sear, but he endures. Faster, faster, faster. He and Akira ready for the teddy. Akira snatches it first. Hikaru is blown back by the gust of his speed. Akira smirks, extended a hand. That was exhilarating. Come, get up. Didn't you just say you'd take this teddy from me? Just 1 lap is all I'm asking. Hikaru can't move. Akira tends to leave but pauses. Like your Moxie kid. Get faster so that next time we meet, you can win this teddy back from me. Fumiko joins Akira, hopping off from the rooftop. They do a special handshake. Hikaru recalls faint memories but remains frozen, helplessly watching them walk away. They don't remember him. They don't remember me. But who'd bother to remember me in the first place? He stares at the sky. Mitan. Onesan. The blue above darkens as his consciousness fades. Akira and Fumiko continue through the city. Despite Fumiko's bloodied state, no one pays attention. You okay? Akira asks. Yeah, just a few scratches, nothing serious. She giggles. Yeah, nothing serious at all. Huh? No, I'm telling the truth. You've got nothing to prove otherwise. Okay. What are all these bloodstains then? Yaki-chan. You always see right through me. Of course, that's because I'm the best. Yumiko sighs and rolls her eyes. Come on. Akira crouches, offering his bag. But he grins. I'm a strong girl. I'll tag it out. Okay, suit yourself, he mutters. Worry still written on his face. She marches on ahead. Chapter 7. A Vengeful Spirit. Failure comes to all. It came to my family the day that I was born. I failed. Yet, why do I even try? Fumiko is carried on Akira's back. He lets go of her and they enter an old abandoned house. Akira and Fumiko take off their shoes and put on another pair. We're home! Silence echoes through the hallway. Why do you always do that? What? It gives the house life. Akira marches in front of her. Let's just go in. They go deeper into the house and enter a secret room. Creaking floorboards, cracked ceilings, and leftover debris are all that can be seen as they continue to walk. They head down the stairs, and Akira opens the door. The room is filled with high-tech equipment, computers, a fresh black shade, wires lying around. Everything in that room looks as if it cost more than the entire house. They put the teddy bear in a clear glass container with a tiny hole in the front. Starting next week, I'll have to go back to university. Yumiko is on her knees staring at the teddy bear. Mine reopens the week after. Akira says, that means we'll only have this week to inspect the teddy bear. She leans back and looks at her brother with a smile. Not necessarily. Though we only have 1 week, I have 2. Akira's eye twitches. So what you're saying is that you can handle this? Fumiko suddenly turns around. That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, if you say you can do it, I have no reason to argue. Plus, after all, you're old enough to make your own decisions. Akira's voice sounds as though he is reassuring himself. Fumiko smiles excitedly. A drop of sweat runs down Akira's face as he smiles weakly back at her. A week passes, with Fumiko and Akira taking care of the teddy bear, but it doesn't change one bit. It seems just like a normal teddy bear. The second week commences and still there are no changes. Fumiko comes by every day to investigate it. She talks to it and sings to it in the hopes that it will respond. Night falls and Fumiko goes back home to rest, leaving the teddy bear in the glass container. One day, something unusual happens after she leaves. The teddy bear tilts slightly. A bright glow of light flashes out of the teddy bear. From within the light, a young boy appears. He checks if the coast is clear and heads towards the door. He tries to open it, but with each attempt he falls back again, and again. Eventually, he dusts himself off and gives up. The boy goes back into the bear and returns to the container. The next day arrives and Fumiko comes back early in the morning. Ohio! The boy jumps out of the teddy bear and leaps toward Fumiko with her arms out. Fumiko dodges him. Huh? What is that? Though Fumiko can't see properly, she is able to sense her brother. Come down! It's me! Fumiko! The boy tries to touch her again. This time he's bouncing off the walls at very high speeds. Fumiko is able to dodge him no matter how fast he moves. She grabs his arms and plunges him into the floor. Calm down, please. I don't mean you any harm. Liar! That's what you all say, but it's never true. Huh? What do you mean? He tries to kick and punch Fumiko, but she has him restrained well. All he can do is flail, yet none of the attacks land. Let's go! He tries to push Fumiko off, but he doesn't have the strength. His actions become more desperate. He reaches out for the teddy, but the glass container is out of reach. Shifuko! Shifuko! Nothing happens. He remains helpless against Fumiko. Fumi-ne-tan. That's what you used to call me. Never Fumi-tan or One-tan. It was always Fumi-ne-tan. Do you remember? The boy's eyes widen, and he shakes his head rapidly. Tears begin to roll down his face onto the ground. He turns his head away while still resisting. He stops after seeing Fumiko crying with a wild smile on her face. No, you're not. You can't be here. Let go of me. Let go. You can't. Takahashi's voice trembles. Fumiko slowly lets go of him. Takahashi gets up, but he's still shaking. Do you want some tea? Takahashi nods. Fumiko stands and assists him. As they walk, Takahashi has a flashback back at the Nakahara restoration when he was born. The room is pitch black. He feels warm and comfortable. He slowly opens his small eyes, and in the corner of his vision, he spots Fumiko sitting by his futon. Oto-san! Oka-san! Takahashi's awake! Akemi rushes into the room and finds Fumiko staring at Takahashi. She goes down on her knees, picks Takahashi up, and pats Fumiko on the head. You were such a good big sister. Well, no one else was available, so I took the liberty of watching him for you. Akemi carried Takahashi in her arms with a smile. Even so, I'm grateful to you. Fumiko's face turned red. The flashback drifts to a time when Takahashi is a bit older, 1 year old, and is walking around the house while holding Fumiko's hand. They march cheerfully as they count how many steps they've taken. 20, 21, 22, 23. Takahashi crawled under Fumiko's kimono. Fumiko feels a chill through her body and looks down. What's wrong, Takahashi-kun? Takahashi is shaking. Hard. She looks down at the ground and notices Saru, and immediately stares up at the sky. Sorry. You just stay under there. We'll be inside before you know it. Fumiko starts walking slowly towards the house with Takahashi holding tightly onto her leg. The flashback fades to Fumiko crying on her mother's lap. Akemi strokes her head. There, everything's alright now. All men are just the same. None of them want to stay married to me. The tears from Fumiko's face drip into her mother's lap. There. Takahashi, now 6 years, peeks through the sooty, slides it open and enters. He stands next to Fumiko's head. There, Fumina-chan. When I'm big and strong, I'll promise to marry you, so don't be sad. Fumiko's wails turn into laughter. Thanks, Takahashi-kun. You always know just how to make me happy. Takahashi and Akemi look at each other in the eyes and smile. Fumiko is still dying of laughter. The scene fades to the entire family, excluding Akira and Fumiko, sitting together. Genji walks in through the door. Starting from tomorrow onward, Fumiko is no longer a part of the family. The room explodes with silence. What do you mean by that, Otto-san? Fumiko has finally found a man who's willing to marry her. That's wonderful news. Yes, it is, but unfortunately, the man believes that we treat Fumiko too kindly. But he has taken it in his best interest to only let her visit periodically. Otto-san, you can't allow that. Please don't. It's too late now for arguments. I have already given them my blessings, and tomorrow Fumiko will be a married woman. Everyone exchanges looks, but they all remain silent and decide to celebrate instead. The flashback ends. Takahashi finds himself sitting on a sofa with a blanket wrapped around his shoulders. Fumiko walks in, sits down, and hands Takahashi a cup of tea. You okay now? Yes. Fumiko stares at Takahashi. She leans in. Takahashi averts his eyes. You sure? Yes. Fumiko leans back. They both stay silent. Takahashi eventually takes a sip of the tea. This tea is amazing. Fumiko smiles widely. Thanks, I've been practicing. Takahashi takes another sip. So if you don't mind me asking, how was your life after the whole, Takahashi acts confused, but it's hard to tell what with his face always wearing the same expression. After you parted with us? Oh, that. Chapter 9. Takahashi's Venture. Hello was always so hard to say. Have you ever had a friend you were close to? I had one too, but unfortunately I lost them. I never got to say goodbye. How I regret it now. Well, after we split up, Aiko and I were adopted by one of the neighbors. Aiko ran away one night and I followed her. I searched high and low, but I wasn't able to find her. I don't remember exactly how or what happened, but I remember blacking out. I woke up in a place with few trees and huts made of twigs. I found out just recently that it was in Africa. Though I'm not sure which part, the atmosphere was hot, but I wasn't burning. I was lying in the sun. I thought I was shocked. I thought I was going crazy. But as time passed, I realized I had a head on my head. It seemed to be made of straw. It was woven and painted with different colors. A boy came running in my direction. He was shocked to see me awake and spoke a weird language. I didn't understand him, and he didn't understand me either. No matter how much we tried, things just didn't make sense. I felt bad that I couldn't understand him, but suddenly an idea crossed my mind. I took a stick and started writing words I knew in English onto the sand. He soon understood what I was trying to do and grabbed the stick as well. His spelling wasn't that good, but that didn't stop us. We had a deep, long conversation in the sand, despite how hot it was outside. I learned that his name was Junior Jacobs, and he was the one who made the hat. He thought I was dead, so he had made up at his practice. We learned more about each other, how big our families are, our favorite foods, our cultures, and words in our languages. That was the first time I had ever bonded with someone other than our family. It made me really happy. For the first time ever, I had a friend. Years passed and we were finally able to talk to each other in his language. During the day, we were hard at work, plowing the fields, and at night, we squirmed around, trying to find warmth in the thin huts. We were in hell, but at least we were together. That brought a thin light to our meaningless lives. Time passed and I still stayed the same. While Junior grew older and bigger, our bond grew stronger by the day, and we grew sicker and sick of the torment. We planned an escape along with all the other captives. I was the one creating most of the plan, but all of us worked together to make it possible. On the day of the escape, it was decided that we would go through a tunnel we had dug and use the light of the night as our cover. Only a few of the people who said that camp actually came today, which I saw as suspicious. But Junior told me not to worry. All was going well, but someone had tipped off the police about our escape. They came rushing through, guns blazing. It rained bullets as we all ran towards the maize field, which is the only way to freedom. Bodies dropped left and right, but Junior and I kept running despite it all, because we knew it was too late to turn back. Takahashi started trembling again, and his voice grew lower. Unfortunately, in the end, it was all meaningless. Junior had been shot in the back of the head. His body fell to the ground, and he lay there in a pool of his blood. On one side was a bullet wound, and on the other, his brain spilling out. I'm still not sure what happened after, but I remember hearing a scratching voice. It was as if time had stopped, with only me able to move. Its voice echoed in my mind. Say it, 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 say it. Until I gave in. Pastor Takahashi stood still. He raised his hands, fingers open, his knees slightly bent, his head almost even with his shoulders. The police stopped shooting. What are you doing? Keep shooting. Transfer. Takahashi closes his hand, and electric shock is emitted around him, and a blood-curdling screech soon follows. They try to aim at him, but their hands have now become merged with the weapon they are holding. They stare at their hands, shaking and screaming. They try to run, but those who remain stand there with sweat pouring, simmering on their faces. If you still have a free hand, you can still fight. Shoot him down. They all nod, and those with free hands start aiming. Takahashi disappears and reappears with his hands slowly moving in front of a policeman. Once he is in contact with his face, the policeman disappears and only the weapon is left behind, dropping to the ground. No one is safe, not even those who try to run away. They keep shooting with tears and sweat running down their faces. Takahashi moves faster now, disappearing and reappearing whenever he touches someone. Weapons drop and bodies disappear. In that moment, I remember my body moving, touching everything inside. My ears rang and my heart was sore, but even so, I still kept moving. I didn't understand why, but my body seemed to move on its own. It knew that by touching those people, I would transfer our souls. I still kept moving, despite how much they begged for mercy. Their petrified faces put a smile on mine. Whenever we begged for mercy, they never listened. So why should I have listened to them? Come on, keep shooting. If you can still move, you can still fight. There's many of us, and only one of him. Gosh darn it, so work harder. People keep disappearing until only the police captains left. The field is silent, and Takahashi seems to disappear. The police captain lowers his gun, and Takahashi appears from behind. The police captain dodges and begins shooting rapidly. Ha! Ha! How do you like that? The police captain laughs. Come on, try and get me. The police captain continues laughing, but suddenly, Takahashi appears under the rain of bullets. He kicks the captain's leg and trips him over. Letting go of the gun, he tries to get up, but Takahashi stomps him back down and jumps backwards. He looks up at Takahashi while groveling at his feet. The police captain laughs awkwardly. Maybe we can strike a deal. You spare my life and I act as if I saw nothing. How does that sound? Takahashi remains silent. He runs toward the captain, his hands slowly getting closer to the policeman's face. Damare. He makes contact with his face and launches him into the ground. Bits of earth fly up in every direction. The police captain passes out and disappears, leaving behind only his gun. The clamor had been silenced, and my ears stopped ringing, but my heart was still stalled. The flashback ends and fades back to Fumiko and Takahashi sitting on the sofa. Takahashi stares blankly down at his cup of tea. Now all I have left of Juma is the teddy bear. I found it where his dead body laid. Fumiko holds Takahashi's hand. Takahashi turns to face Fumiko. His eyes are puffy. She tightens her grip on the cup. Sorry. If I went with you then, Fumiko sniffles. You wouldn't have had to go through something so. Tears roll down Fumiko's face. Her body is trembling and her grip on the cup is in Takahashi's hand is still tight. Don't cry for me, Nathan. It was a long time ago and I've gotten over it. Hick. You, sir? Hick. Takahashi looks at his teddy bear sitting on the sofa. Yeah. Fumiko smiles while wiping the tears from her face. She and Takahashi stare at each other softly. Fumiko grabs Takahashi in a motherly hug and doesn't let go. She holds him for a while. Fumineta. Fumiko quickly lets go. Oh, sorry, my bad. Takahashi bursts into laughter. His laugh is soft and delicate. It's just that it's been a while since I've last seen you and I miss being together with you. All of you, actually. Takahashi gazes at Fumiko, who's staring out the window. The warm sunlight makes her face more vivid. The beauty spot under her eye, her almond-shaped midnight eyes, her pale skin and her long sideburn. But what stands out the most is her pure smile. Oh, sorry about that. I've been yapping 2 months about how much I miss you guys. This is meant to be about you. Sorry. Fumiko laughs awkwardly. Don't apologize. Huh? Don't apologize. You really miss everyone in our family, so don't apologize for that. Though I may not want to, I'll help you look for everyone. I'll devote my heart to it, I promise. Takahashi leans closer with a determined look on his face. Fumiko bursts into laughter. You always know how to make me happy. Takahashi softly smiles.